Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
Women in the Niger Delta region last week joined their counterparts all over the world to mark this year's International Women's Day with the theme, Gender Equality for a Sustainable Tomorrow. In this report, our correspondent takes a look at the role of women in the emancipation and development of the Niger Delta region, as well as their stake in their respective communities.
Soon after Nigeria's independence in 1960, crude oil mined from the bowels of the Niger Delta became Nigeria's economic mainstay. As far back as the 1970s, the Nigerian state began to reap bountifully from the black gold and used its proceeds to develop other parts of the country, while all producing communities in the Niger Delta were left largely underdeveloped. This scenario soon gave rise to the Niger Delta struggle that is centered on a demand for environmental justice, resource control and political accommodation by the rest of the Nigerian Federation. Over the years, women in the Niger Delta have been at the vanguard of that struggle, which in the Fourth Republic compelled the federal government to establish the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) and make a statutory provision of 13% minerals derivation policy to fast-track developments in the region. Ken Henshaw, a Niger Delta activist, is worried that in spite of their contributions to the emancipation of their communities, women are yet to benefit from the gains of the Niger Delta struggle.
Every time women went out to fight for ecological justice, for environmental justice, for resource ownership, every time women fought, they always ended up reinforcing the demands of men. The Borodo women in Warri, when they took over the Chevron flow station, when Chevron came to meet them and discuss the terms of settlement, guess what the terms were? It was scholarship for their male children. It was jobs for their boys, jobs for their husbands. The agenda of women are never on the table of negotiations. It seems to me from all my researches that women's struggles are always used to validate the struggles of men.
The negative fallouts for many years of crude oil production have been massive environmental degradation, widespread poverty and insecurity. In spite of the many challenges they have had to contend with, women in the Niger Delta have braved all odds to become active participants in the local economy, which revolves around subsistence farming and fishing. Today, women in the Niger Delta have become predominant in the agricultural labor force and are largely responsible for family food supplies. Gender rights advocate Dr. Hioma Nsirimwolu and political activist Haya King strongly believe that women deserve accolades on the occasion of the International Women's Day for their immense contributions to the emancipation of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
If you take the terrain of Niger Delta, it is a difficult one. And in spite of the geographical challenges they have in their environment, Niger Delta women have excelled in different forms or different spheres of life where they have found themselves. Therefore, they should be celebrated.
You will agree with me that the Delta women, they have been supportive in the agitation for Niger Delta. They are women of valor. They are strong women. So we should celebrate them.
An elevated testosterone runs deep in the Niger Delta and the larger Nigerian society, denying women from equal participation in the decision-making process. Other gender rights campaigners in the Niger Delta are calling on women to begin to demand their rights and take their pride of place in society.
They want to do everything to throw the woman out. But you need to stand your ground. And if you perform well and you're able to assert yourself, then I don't think that anybody would want to, take you off wherever you are. First of all, good performance. You need to have it. You don't give what you don't have.
After days of peaceful protests embarked upon recently by women across major cities of the Nigerian Federation, federal lawmakers were constrained to consider some gender equality bills that were hitherto jettisoned in the House of Representatives. Gender rights activists are convinced that it is a major victory for Nigerian women, which came about as a result of their courage and tenacity. They enjoined women in the Niger Delta to imbibe same spirit of courage and begin to demand the benefits of their many struggles to emancipate the Niger Delta region.
Inside the Niger Delta,